Alright, so in today's video, we're going to take a look into one of Dungeon Fighter Online's most intricate legends. And that is going to be based on the story of Khazan and Ozma. Now, it's best that I think that we need to understand that when it comes down to the lore of DFO, it is a very multi-faced story. Okay, so what you're about to hear is just basically one interpretation of the story, basically pieced together from various sources. And I wanted to do this because with the upcoming release of the First Berserker Khazan, I wanted to put together as much of the story as I possibly can, try to understand it, because like you maybe, I'm one that's not too familiar with DNF's story of the Khazan. So in today's video, I want to try to take a swing at this, put everything I possibly can together in discussing pretty much the lore of the order and chaos story of Khazan and Ozma. So with all that being stated, I will put it like this, that if any of this information that I'm putting out is somewhat misinformation, it is based on different various sources that I had to search across the internet for, because there is not just one place where you can find the lore. If someone out there knows more and knows better of the lore of Khazan, please, by all means, with any kind of source material, whatever, please put that information down in the comment section below. I would love to take a look at it, rewrite this if I need to, and possibly revise this video in the future. But with all that being stated and everything done, I figure it's time we'll go ahead and see if my interpretation of the story is a good thing. So, without further ado, I'm FOXSOL, and let's dive into this. In the early days of the Palace Empire, long before anyone knew what would happen, two men stood out like stars in the night sky, each representing something very different but yet very powerful. First there was General Khazan, called the Immortal God of War. He was like a knight from the stories, with a huge sword that he used not just to fight with, but to bring peace with. Every time he swung his sword, his eyes were like windows to his soul, full of determination to keep the world balanced between good and evil. People thought he was touched by a magic or touched by the gods above, because he was so good at fighting, like a hero straight out of a fairy tale. On the other side, there was Ozma, the high priest. He lived in the grand temples where he learned to use magic that could turn tears into smiles. He was like a wise old owl, knowing all about the old ways, how to make miracles happen if you would. He was loved by everyone in the Empire for keeping their spirits so high. But deep inside, Ozma was hurt. The Empire that he thought was his friend did something very terrible. It took away someone he loved more than anything. And this was the beginning of the dark path for Khazan and Ozma. Khazan and Ozma were the Empire's greatest heroes, the pillars of the Empire holding everything up. Khazan's victory in battle kept the Empire safe, while Ozma's wisdom helped guide its leaders with fairness and kindness. Together they were two sides of the same coin, one strong with a sword, the other powerful with words and magic. People believed that they balanced each other like light and shadow. But as the Empire grew richer and more powerful, problems started to appear. Greedy rulers and jealous nobles began whispering lies and making secret plans. The Empire was shining on the outside but rotting on the inside. It was during this time that Ozma's tragedy struck. Losing his beloved broke something inside him. He couldn't forgive the Empire for what they did. And that sadness turned into a dark force that would change everything. And this is when our story takes a dark turn, as this is when the Berserker Dragon appeared, a giant creature with powers wild and dark. This was no ordinary dragon. Its arrival shook the Empire to its core. The dragon wasn't just dangerous because of its strength, it also speared fear and chaos wherever it went. For Khazan, fighting this dragon was the biggest challenge of his life. The endless battles filled him with rage, so much so that even his friends hardly recognized him. He was torn between his duty to protect the Empire and the anger that grew inside him because of all this chaos. Every battle he fought was both a cry to save the world and a painful reminder of the order that he was losing. For Ozma, the dragon was like a mirror, showing him his darkest feelings. For Ozma, the dragon was like a mirror, showing him his darkest feelings. The dragon's dark magic mixed with sadness, making him feel like he was becoming part of the darkness. He decided to change, not just a little, but completely. This was the dawn of Ozma to become the Lord of the Abyss. Leaving behind the light of the temple, he used his pain to grow stronger, not in a way that helped people, but in a way that scared them. And this would be the event that marked the beginning of the end for the Empire. As the Empire began to fall apart, the leaders were scared of losing control, had turned against our heroes. These rulers became scared of Khazan and Ozma, seeing them as threats instead of heroes. They accused of Khazan of being a traitor, even though he had always been their protector. The people he had once defended now exiled him, forcing him to live as a fallen hero. He wandered alone, carrying the heavy sadness of betrayal by those he loved. Stories about his exile are told again and again, showing how even the bravest of heroes can be hurt by those they protect. Ozma felt the betrayal even more deeply, though. The Empire had not only taken his love, but now has showed him their true and ugly face. Betrayed by his own people filled him with endless rage. He fully embraced the darkness and became the Lord of the Abyss. He didn't just lose his faith in the Empire, he lost faith in everything. His heart was now filled with only hatred and desire for revenge. But in the end, with Khazan, his life ended in sadness. His last days were spent far from where he once was celebrated, broken by betrayal and grief, met to a tragic end. He died far from home, hunted by those very people he once saved. His death is remembered as a sad lesson about how hard it is to stay good in a world of full corruption. But Ozma, as he embraced the darkness and became even more powerful than he once was, his anger fueled by dark energy of the Berserker Dragon, he rose to become the ruler of darkness. People who followed him formed cults, spreading his dark influence across the land. His name became a symbol of chaos and revenge, remembered in stories and legends throughout time. And this is the story of Khazan and Ozma. A story that is not just about two men or two friends. It's a tale about how easily light can turn into darkness, how heroes can fall, and how pain and betrayal can change people forever. This story teaches us that the order and chaos will always be connected, and sometimes even the greatest heroes can be lost to the shadows. About how sadness can change someone, and about the never-ending dance between what is right and chaotic. Alrighty, so with that done, this is the story of what I have found out so far about Khazan and Ozma through different various sources, like I stated before in the video, and put this all together. So tell me what you think. Did I get this right? Is there some misinformation? I'd like to hear your comments down below, because like I stated, when searching for all this information and trying to put all this together, there's not just like one simple source that I found that was out there that told all this. It was a bunch of different sources that I had to go ahead and take bits and pieces from, because it doesn't seem like everything is completed. And that's why, like I was saying, that when it comes down to the story of Khazan and Ozma through DFO, it seems to be a wide range of different interpretations, and this is the interpretation that I have taken from it. Now, is this going to be the story for the first Berserker Khazan? I'm not too sure about that, but we'll see. But with all this being stated and everything else done, you guys let me know down in the comment section below. Did I do a good job? Did I do a bad job? Is there some misinformation that I need to correct? Is there some different source information that you could help provide for me to make a better lore video in the future? Please leave all that down in the comment section below. But like always, guys, if you don't mind, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and subscribe to the channel if you want more information that is revolved around the First Berserker Khazan. Otherwise than that, keep it classy, keep it jazzy, and always keep it real. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.